another solid game plan. 2 weeks in a row. This is a big. But overall, I can't complain too much. We just need to beat the Bills. This defense have performed at an exceptional level against very good teams.
This was our third win in a row. Very happy. I'm just concerned about All right. I did think we might not do this week because it didn't look like we were going to win on Sunday. But the Broncos pulled it out. It was ugly. It was very ugly. But we're going to talk about it. So it's just me and Brett tonight. Everybody else has family plans, or Todd's going to a concert and Steve's working. So it's you and I.
Ready to
So,
roll.
yep. So am I. And I have the wrong tickler going right now. As always, Sunday, 3 p.m., we will be at Almost Home. I won't be there, but everybody else should be. I have to decorate for my Halloween party, which, like a lot of things I do, I'm going overboard for. There will be a mini haunted house.
Nice. That sounds good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just get into it. You guys know how this works. We do the good, the bad, and the ugly. This week, the ugly we will both talk about. It's not going to be anyone's because I think we all know what the ugly was. But all right, Brett, what was your good?
Not a whole lot. The good was just simply getting out of that situation with the win. It was, yeah, as I said coming in, the London game is always just something where it's a wonky game. It's obviously tough with travel. You just don't know what's going to happen with it. You just want to win. We were coming in with a few injuries. We were coming off a big win with the Eagles. It's, Peyton alluded to it coming in. So I'm not surprised the game went the way it did. You'd hope to see a little bit more from the offense. You hope to see, the defense did what it's supposed to do. That's going to be the good of it is the defense defeats bad quarterback play. If they're playing bad quarterbacks, if they're playing rookie quarterbacks, inexperienced, they will rush them. They will make them make poor decisions, and they will basically limit them to almost nothing. And we've seen it with Tennessee. We've seen it with the Jets. We will see it a couple more times coming up this year. I think we have a good chance this week with the Giants and an inexperienced quarterback. But the good is just making sure we got there with the win, with no more injuries, and we're looking relatively healthy with a pretty good schedule ahead of us the next few weeks.
Yeah. My good is the defense. We had 8 sacks in that game, and the projections are if we keep up this pace, we will defeat Von Miller's record and could also beat the 1985 Bears sack
Yeah,
record.
I think the '84 Bears is the one that actually has the record, which is
Yeah,
so.
but they
But yeah,
call it
they're right
85.
on. Yeah, I saw that
They're
they're
right on. Yeah,
right on pace for it. So, and we got a few good matchups coming up where they should probably
yeah,
boost those numbers up quite a bit. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing to see that they're in historical talks, and not too surprising. They've developed this defense so well, but man,
yeah,
those are some legendary defenses to be compared to. So that's really good.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. We should have had a high number of sacks against the Jets because their offensive line is not that good. So,
It's okay, but Fields loves to hold on to the ball. He's got a lot of Russell Wilson ism to him, and he's not as good of a passer, so he tends to hold on to the ball and draw a ton of sacks. So that's good that we brought him down because he's very athletic and can get away at times. But he's one that was a good matchup for them to sort of bring the rush and sort of bring him down quite a few times.
yeah, yeah. We held them to -10
Yeah, that's
offensive yards.
yeah, it's gonna be hard to win if you get negative passing yards. So not in the modern NFL is that a thing. So.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, we got to get to the other parts, which is the bad. Um, my bad was the special teams. It looked really bad, except for our punter. Our punter seems to be legit. So I'm not going to throw shade at him, but no. When
Yeah.
you give a team the ball at the 45-yard line consistently, they're going to score. If we'd been able to hold them back 10, 15 yards, it would have been a different game, completely
Yeah,
different game.
never would have scored. I mean, they
Yeah.
weren't moving the ball at all. They were just the opportunities they got to score, just the advantages we gave them at time. To either turnover wise or just with special teams,
Which we'll
especially.
talk about the next section.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the coverage was really bad. There, you could tell when they showed that weird camera angle, which I hated, but it wasn't bad at
That
times for the
fisheye thing they were doing.
yeah, the sky
Oh,
cam.
yeah.
It missed a lot of times, but one thing you could see from it is that their lanes were all over the place. I don't know where their coverage lanes were supposed to be, but they didn't seem disciplined at all on the coverage lanes running down there. They seemed pretty gapey. They seemed pretty out of it. And there's a lot of room to run on those coverages. You can see it pretty easily at certain times with that camera angle. So yeah, that was. I don't know if that was just they didn't practice it up and too worried about other things, or I'm not sure what happened there, but that was pretty
Well,
bad on that side of the ball.
we did sign JT Gray, who's a
Yeah, so
defensive back, an ex-Saint who played with Rizzy. So I think that hopefully, because he's played with Rizzy and he understands what Rizzy wants, he might be
I,
able to.
I assume he might gun this next week or something like that. Like I said, I
Right.
assume he signed for coverage help and stuff like that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that
No.
was unacceptable, and against better teams, that could be the difference between a win or a loss for sure.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that could have
um,
been the flip for us playing the Colts or the Chargers or any the
yeah,
teams that we lost by a field goal. Like
yeah,
it could have been worse on
yeah,
a team that
and they just. One thing that I was confused by is I don't know if they're telling Mims this or these are decisions Mims makes, but Mims is seeming like he doesn't want to return the ball. He didn't. There was at least three instances in that game in London where he had plenty of room, and they were. I don't know if they were worried about his fumbling or just want to
Yeah.
play it safe, but he was just unwilling to return the ball last week, and I'm not sure. He's one of our better weapons, and he's a Pro Bowl punt returner. He's one of the best in the league. He needs to take those opportunities and try and get some yards, try and help out the offense
Right.
as much as they can.
Yeah, I agree. There was a couple of fair catches that I was like, could have done something with that. So, all right. Well, the ugly. And it was very ugly. And everybody
Yeah.
saw the ugly. And everybody's like,
Well,
really? Where
well,
are we
we
going
we
to these guys in
feels
our offense?
yeah we feel bad now because we now know when Pert was playing with an MCL injury, a torn MCL. It sounds like so. I would like to give him more benefit to the doubt, but I mean he was so bad out there. I don't know why they didn't try somebody else then if he was especially on an injury like I know they basically completely changed their offense to try and give help to him or avoid passing because he just couldn't pass pro at all against Quinn Williams or anyone running in that D tackle.
Yeah.
And I assume that's what changed. I figured what Payne basically figured out is okay, we can win basically with our defense. We just need enough from our offense. So he went super conservative and he just tried to make sure we didn't lose that game on the offensive side of the ball. Because I mean, we stopped trying to basically throw it on the field. We stopped trying to do anything. Like play action was really something they didn't really want to try that much. It's
Like, because they couldn't hold.
they
They
couldn't
couldn't
hold that
keep the
long.
line open long
I
enough
understand.
to
Yeah,
let
and I
the
understand.
plays develop.
Yeah,
So,
and I understand. I assume that's what happened. I assume he figured it out, and he's like, okay, this is we can't protect there. We're not gonna. They limited their passing because they ran. They got super conservative, just running it way too. Running it a lot on early downs and trying to limiting it that way. And I feel like that's what he decided in the moment is. All right, let's just got to here to win. The best way to get a win is let's not make a bad decision because they're never going to score on us basically unless we do something turnover, bad mistake against them. So I think that's what happened. God, I hope so because with Pert out, I don't know what they're going to do. I assume Throckmorton is going to step in, but they
they're
could
saying
also.
Palczewski was announced. Well,
I,
Bowles is saying
is he is
Palczewski.
is he going to play guard?
Yeah, and I'm
Hmm.
hearing Throckmorton will be backup in case something goes wrong with
Okay.
Palczewski. So,
Palczewski's the best backup offensive lineman we have. So I agree with the talent. I know him pretty well from Illinois. I watched him play a lot. I'm a University of Illinois graduate. I don't know if he ever played guard. Maybe he did early in his career, and I may have missed it. I know he didn't play his last couple of years. So I mean, if they think he can play guard, I mean, they played Pert and he wasn't necessarily guard. So I mean, he hasn't
Yeah.
played guard in the past. So I'm fine. I'm glad with it because he is the best talent they have. I also trust Throckmorton a little bit just because he's a veteran. He's played guard in the system for forever. His PFF grades actually in the last like couple preseasons have been pretty good. I looked at him real quick.
Right.
So it gives me some assurance that he won't be a total disaster there if they have to play him there. But uh, you know, it's something they're gonna have to see. And I don't want them to make changes to the offense against better teams. I don't know if we can get away with that. The Giants, have a little steam to them. Who knows what type of game we'll talk about what type of game we might get with them. But these other teams, in this 4-week window, we're not going to have powers for sure. We're not going to be able to get away with this type of offense and assume we're going to win games just solely on our defense doing absolutely everything to stop.
No. Powers is going to be out for another 2 months.
It's in 2 months. Yeah, it's a tricep.
They were saying 9 weeks altogether.
So I mean, that's the whole season. That back half of the schedule then gets to play. You play better offenses. You can't trust your defense is going to be able to hold them to 10 points, 15, 17 points in that range to win. You're going to need to be a little more aggressive on offense, and
Agreed.
you're going to need to trust that offensive line. So they've been lucky. I mean, this is the first real major injury they've had in the offensive line for 2 years. So and that's one of the things we've loved is our continuity on the front line. That's really helped us out. Well, now we have to sort of get through it and see how well Payton can adjust to it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with my friends on the other show. They were talking about how the Bears, and I'm like, look, it takes time for your offensive line to get some chemistry and start working together. It's not just plop this pro in and he can suddenly take over. You plopped 3 pros in, brand new coach, brand new offensive big. It's new for everyone. It takes time for that to gel. Now we'll see what happens going forward, but yeah, I agree. I mean, the chemistry was just off. I mean, you had Pert in, Powers was out. One Pert. Now he did. I don't know if he'd been injured by that point, but that holding call that called back the touchdown that hurt. That hurt big time.
Yeah, it might have been the play he got hurt on because they said he was hurt like third play of the game, and that was I can't remember if that was third or
he was hurt because this one was later.
Yeah. He was hurt then because they said he was hurt basically the whole game. Is the third play of the game is the what they said he got injured because they said he played I think 57 of the 60 snaps. They said he was injured playing. So
it does make sense why he was having issues with.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I'm like I know he's not that good, but I don't remember being this bad, and like it was so noticeably bad. And like obviously he had those multiple holding penalties. He had I think a false start in there too, at least three penalties to go his way. So he was probably compensating. And the Jets have a decent pass rush up the middle, so that's it's the bad matchup run into it. So I like guys. I've always liked Palczynski. I think he's he was really solid at Illinois. I trust him. We'll see where he's at guard. I know we can do some other shuffling around. We do have some different options they can try. They can always put Forsythe at center and move Winberg out to a guard too. That's been brought up as well. So they have a couple different options that they can sort of mix and match, and I'm sure that there are going to be some experimenting because they obviously they have some games they have to figure this out. So I'm sure this is a game they might do a bit of experimenting. And if they don't like what they see, they might make an adjustment. But I don't know if they do that in game. The Broncos seem less willing to do it in game than some other teams do. So
yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna also injury report. Let's talk about this one because there are some other things. Jonah Ellis is still out.
Yeah,
which is not good. Wallow is now on IR for a hamstring. Greenlaw had limited practice this week. They're going to make a decision.
They activated him off the pup, so he has 21 days. I assume he's not going to play this week. I don't think he will. I think they're going to let him practice this week. They'll play week 8, which would make a little more sense, I think, timeline-wise. But
the others were Benito and Alex Singleton were there, but they had full participation. So
they're both playing. I'm not that worried about them. They've taken some rest days. Yeah, they've taken some days off and on throughout this time period. So
all right, well that's that part of it. All right, We used to do this a little more. Sean and I have done it on the Let's Talk Breaking News that we would do. We're going to do something that I like to call overreaction versus reality. Because let's say social media in Broncoville this week went back to Tebow days, I would
Yeah, let's.
say, where people were just fighting with each other. Yeah, I'm not going to say more than that. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the less one. And I know the other question is the one that's my friend Sean and a few other people that are watching. That's the one they want to hear the discussion on. So I'm going to make you wait for it. Should Davis Webb be able to call the plays and not Sean Payton?
It's a
Overreaction
bit.
or reality?
It's an overreaction a bit. I mean, Payne's called plays his whole coaching NFL career. If he wants to give it up, it's up to him. I think he's got a pretty good feel of what he wants to do, play call wise. I don't think he's the one that's holding us back necessarily offensive wise. I think there's a lot of issues regarding that, but I don't think Payne is necessarily the one. And you brought him in to do, part of that. What you brought him in to do as a coach is to call plays because that's what he's done his whole career.
Yeah.
So I think Davis Webb would do a very good, would do a good job. I don't think there would be a drop off if you wanted to have him call plays. If Payne wanted him to do it to ease his plate, that's fine. Like it's coaches have made that decision in the past, but I don't think Payne's going to do it, and I don't think that him not doing it is the reason our offense is going to suffer or fall behind. I think it would be pretty. I don't think it would be a very noticeable difference if that decision was to be made. Honestly,
Yeah. I was listening to DNVR when Benny Fowler and Dave Logan were talking about it, which if you're one of the fandoms and you're not listening to that episode, listen to it because two ex-players talking about the team gives you a completely different outlook on what they're looking at and everything. And it's a really good show. They both brought up good points on this. Benny mentioned that yeah, Davis Webb called the plays in the preseason, but remember, or it might have been Dave, I don't remember now. But in preseason, defenses are pretty vanilla.
yeah.
It's cover one, cover two, that's it. You're not seeing a lot. So somebody who calls the plays in the preseason can look better than what you think they are just because of the defenses. But
Also, the offense is vanilla too. I mean, they don't want to show as much on tape, so they bring back the playbook and they are only going to run their bare sets and bare plays. The basics, as you will. So, well, I don't think it matters a ton. It's still also a limited script wise. You're going to run in a preseason offense as well.
the other thing that I forget who mentioned it, but I think it might be true is I think with some of the play calling, Sean now has an overabundance of targets. He's got Sutton, he's got Mims, he's got Franklin, he's got Ingram, he's got Harvey. Like there's a little too much there, and he's still figuring out how the pieces are all going to fit together. I think is a valid thing to say, whether it's true or not. I can't say, but they were like pointing to like it was Michael Thomas and then Kamara. That's it. Those were his main targets.
Yeah, but I
So
mean, previously he used to have a lot more. I mean, years prior to that, I mean, he would have Deveray Henderson and he would have Robert Meacham. I mean, his offensive systems have been this type of, fantasy owners have complained years because he is, he will be the guy that just, I'm going to spread the ball around and no one gets a concentrate set. And then Michael Thomas came along and sort of changed that for him. But he always used to be the guy, I'm going to spread it and I don't really care what you think as a fantasy. I want my teams to win. And he did that type of thing. So I don't know if that's this. I think he wants that to be that way. I think he wants to have. This offense is designed to be the type that's okay. His Suns are number one, and he will get the most targets. We can go to him when things are contested, and then everything else is sort of who's open. We design plays for all these different guys in different sets, and whoever comes open, that's where we go with the ball.
Franklin's allowing our screen game and RPO to open up because
Yeah.
he's getting better at that. So
And so is Ingram too. I mean, that's one of Ingram's skill set is being a guy that can be tight end but spread out wide, and he can run screens and he can sort of run those delayed tight end block then turn and take a screen or something like that. So that's I think that I understand that, but I think Payne's very used to having a multitude of options. I think that's something he thrives with. So.
Oh, I agree. I think it's a total overreaction. It's just people this day and age, it's like, I want it now. I want the change now. Like, and I said it before, I'm like, sophomore slumps can happen. And we did a lot last year because people weren't really paying attention to what our team was doing. And so we were able to sneak up on a few people. So that is going to lead into our next one. And I can't believe, I'm just going to say it. I think this one is a total overreaction, but it's out there.
And I mean, it's an overreaction. It's not. Bo has. I think everyone got very. I was trying to one. I was not a Bo fan coming in, and then Bo played very well his rookie year, especially at the end part of the year, and looked good. But he also has some limitations that all these draft people brought up and sort of mentioned as an issue. One of the issues is he was older coming in. So he was going to be decent probably, early. He could probably get starting right away. And he has, he's older. He's going to be a little more experienced. He's less likely to make these mistakes as a rookie, which is nice. But one of the things that was mentioned was he may not have the most growth. You're not going to see maybe the potential that you may want to see out of someone like him. And I still think he can get there. I still think there's potential there. But to assume that he was automatically going to take a leap after year one was something that I think we really wanted to expect because that's what you expect from rookie, young quarterbacks. That's what I want to see. And it's just this year it's not happening. It's not, there as I said, it's not that it's worse, it's definitely worse as a general concept. But is it that much worse? It wasn't worse than the start that we had last year. He was not good the start of last year either. Like that's kind of the way Payton's always run. That's the way he seems to run. So I'm not that surprised that this is what we're seeing. This is the type of team we are. Like we're not the most explosive offensive team we're going to see. We wish that we were a lot more consistent on that side of the ball. But Stidham's not going to solve any of those issues. I mean, come on. I like Stidham. He's a fine backup quarterback. He's nice in case of an injury. He's nice to be a leadership guy. He's a good guy to have in the QB room. I understand, what is, but like to say he's going to be better than Bo Nix if he starts is just not going to be true. I don't believe it. I'd be very much an upset if he is.
It's just something that I've seen. I saw it through the last 10 years after Peyton, well, not quite 10, after Peyton retired. Like we had Peyton and we had John Elway. We got used to having teams that had highly explosive offenses and games were always 3-4 touchdowns apiece on our side. So it's not always going to be that way. And we discussed it last week, and I think it's true. Sean Payton, I think this offense is a little bit of a slow starter, and it'll pick up as we go through the year because the offense is going to understand what he wants better because it's a complicated system. And I was not a fan of the Sean hiring. He was not somebody there, but he's made me kind of see the light and see like, you know what? We saw some guys last year that should have been really good that ended up really bad. And Sean said, this is my guy. And I think he's shown that he can get him where he needs him to be. Now, I agree with you. I don't think he's making huge strides like he made last year in the second half of the season, where all of a sudden you kind of like saw the light go off in his head. Like, oh, I got it.
Slow down a little and
I got where you want that, why that ball, like 6 people are doing all of this and you want me to throw there at this point. Now, I will say this. One, he needs to take the sack. He needs to stop trying to get away all the time. It's almost like he doesn't want to be sacked anymore.
I think
then runs head first, essentially to gain 5 yards. It's like, I don't know what's going on with that part of it. So
I just think they did so much program with him of the really you can't take negative plays, including sacks. And okay, you're athletic. And I think it's now comes to the point where he's now gone to the other side of that, like, I super can't take a sack. And he's getting a bit of I call it like the Jake Plummerism. He always reminds me of the guy that do that work. He makes the great play to avoid a guy, but then makes a very poor decision down the field trying to
Yeah.
make a throw he doesn't need to make.
Yeah.
Jake Plummer used to do that for us. I remember we always got
Oh,
frustrated.
I know. I used to joke that Mike Shanahan had a dog collar on him. Every
Yeah,
time it looked like he was going to make an interception, he'd be like,
every time you avoid it, it's like, oh no, he's actually going to throw the ball. I'd rather just took the sack. You don't need to do that. And Bo has a little that to him. He's still more conservative. He doesn't try and make
just
too much.
wish he would run forward, not backwards.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's more side to side than backward.
Not moving as forward as or in the crazy things he used to do in his first year. And I'm like, just go forward. If you can't go forward, take the sack. But
he's less.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. He less. Yeah, I think he is less stepping in the pocket. I think you're right. I think it's more he's coming out the sides, and then that's
so far. Like
yeah.
You see him go back, and as I didn't play football, but I understand they call it climbing the ladder. Like if he can't climb the ladder, he goes 5 more steps back, which now you're even further behind the line. So if you throw to the ball to your running back that's supposed to be getting it, you're right at the line of scrimmage. You're not getting that 5 yards you were supposed to get. So that's the part that I don't understand. But I mean, I don't play football. We're just sitting here saying what we think. We're not the pundits. No. Everything I've read, nobody in any of the sports media, and even like I say, I watch Tim Jenkins' show every week. He's even like it's not Bo. This week
I know.
Bo.
Yeah, he said that. It was the line.
And Franklin was slightly like Franklin can't fumble balls anymore. That hurt us. That fumble really hurt us. The game would have been a completely different thing. So but it's not Bo. It is not Bo.
I don't think it's 100% Bo. I mean, I think there are things Bo can do that would make it easier. And I said, I don't fully blame Bo. I think there's a lot of there's plenty of issues with the offense that doesn't involve Bo that, our wide receiver depth is still okay. It's fairly improving. Troy's the second. He's been better this year. He's good, but he's still not a guy that separates amazing.
Getting Mims more involved. Because every time we get Mims involved, it's like a light goes off somewhere. And
I don't know what happened to, and maybe it's just a conservative, but there's like no. They used to take deep shots with Mims. That used to be the play action or go deep. And he's a really good deep ball tracker of the ball. He can make plays even up in the air, some jump balls. He did in the Cincinnati game, and that part of the game sort of went away. Like it's either sudden or it's no one down the field. I feel like I haven't seen. Yeah. They had one time Troy, but that was a scramble drill. I don't remember a set play where we take a shot with Mims and take a shot and that's I said I think that's part of we're playing fairly conservative still on the offensive side of the ball, and it's hard when you have a good defense to want to be as aggressive as you want to be on the offensive side of the ball because you can rely on them. You don't want to screw the game up. But we're getting to that point in the schedule when we're going to have to. Like we can't guarantee the defense go in every one of these games. When we play the Chiefs, when we play the Chargers, when we play the Packers, when we play these other teams that are more well-rounded, where they're just not the quarterbacks we're going to dominate, you're going to need to put points up, and that Payne's proof he can. He's shown it in certain games, and other games obviously the playoff game, we may not have the people to do it, and that's going to be the telltale sign is when we get to the second part of the year with a tougher schedule, what are we going to see offensive-wise? Are we going to see a more aggressive style? Are we going to see Bo being able to make plays on the field? Or are we going to see the offense that goes 3 and out half the game? And we're stuck our defense, in bad spots.
We'll also have another $20 million back in our cap. So we're no longer playing Mr. Russell anymore.
Yeah.
No, that could be the difference in us getting in another free agent linebacker or something like that.
I mean, the trade market is going to be interesting because there's been rumors I've heard rumors of certain that maybe Andrews or maybe a linebacker, maybe even a guard if they don't like what they see in the guard, maybe they go and try trade for a guard. Although those rarely available and hard to work, but we do have a little more flexibility than we did last year, so it will be interesting to see how aggressive they are. coming forward with the deadline coming in a few weeks.
All right. Well, what's one key to victory you think we need to make sure we do?
The biggest key is don't give the Giants momentum to start the game. I think this Giants team just had a win against the Eagles like we just did, prior to the week before. They look good. They look good at home, but in between those home wins, they lost to the Saints on the road, and they didn't look very good doing it. And no offense to the Saints, but obviously they're not a very good football team. They don't really have the talent. So I think the Giants are someone who are going to have momentum in the crowd. If our crowd can get involved in the game and our offense can get going early, I think that's going to be our offense needs to do some stuff, get going early, and take them out of it early, or at least get them thinking. Then I think then Dart's really got some problems. We're going to be able to bring a pass rush. He's not seen a pass rush like ours in the 3 games. The Eagles didn't have Carter. They didn't really rush the passer. They didn't really play that game like that well.
Yeah.
And the other games, he really didn't see a pass rush. He's athletic. He likes to run the ball. He's similar to Fields in that way. He's a big runner of the ball. He's not going to have a lot of weapons to throw the ball. They're estimated in the wide receiving corps. They have a couple. They have Wandale. That's about it. Johnson's a nice tight end that they can use in the middle of the field at times. They're going to run the scatterboo. You just have to bring them down. You have to be sure in tackling. But if you can get an early momentum, and that's something I would even take the ball first. We win the toss, take the ball first, score, put them on notice right away. The fans should be. We're going to have a great home crowd there. Obviously, you have the Super Bowl reunion and the DT Ring of Honor. You're going to have a big. That's going to be a great home field for that game.
Yeah.
If they bring it and the offense gives them something to cheer about, or we make it, get some momentum early, I think we can sort of put them. Don't give them a chance to keep in the game, because unlike the Jets, they have enough. Dart has enough charisma. They have enough players that they can possibly make a play late and win that game. So.
Yeah, I agree. My only thing I had on keep Scatterboo contained. Dart hit early and often.
Yeah. He hasn't had a lot of hits. I mean, he's been.
Their defense isn't great, so
no,
I mean, it's okay, but it's not great. So if you can take advantage of that, it's okay. I mean, the Cowboys and the Giants game, everybody was like, did the Giants make it? I do think the Giants made a wrong decision in getting rid of Jones, but it was 2 offenses and the defense couldn't stop anybody. So we'll see what happens. But the biggest one I think we need to do is we have to convert the 3rd downs.
Yeah, and their pass rush is good. That's their one thing. I mean, Brian Burns is very good. They got Dexter Lawrence. They have some guys that can rush the passer. They've been pretty good rushing the pass this year. But their secondary, I don't think is very strong. So
right, that's more where, and I think that was also shown during the Cowboys game, because that's what was happening. It was the long passes, and neither team had a really great secondary. So you just throw the long passes and you could go. But yeah, Todd did say last week he thought that the Jets game was going to be a trap game, and I think he was right. We were able to keep it together enough to get it and win it in the end. But this is another trap game coming up, because the Jets are right and the Giants are riding high. Hopefully, it always happens. Second half, third, beginning of the 4th, towards the middle, they start losing gas, because that altitude does affect you. I don't care how much your oxygen you're sucking in the game. It affects you after a while, especially if your defense is out there all the time. So
they get a little extra rest. Might help them a little. They get the 10 days because they play on Thursday. But it's one of those. I'm really glad we play in Denver as opposed to in New York, because
if we were playing in New York with that
I'd be much more alert for this game. Playing at home, I feel like this is a game we can. I guess I think there's a lot of hope for their future, but like right now they're still very vulnerable in a lot of spots, and it's just I'd like to see them play well on the road before everyone likes to get too high on them. Let's see them play on the road against a really really good defense they haven't seen yet.
All right. Well, that's it for Mile High Minute. As always, it's more than a minute, but I enjoy it. So,
it's worth it.
All right, Brett, thanks for coming on. I won't see you on Sunday.
Enjoy decorating. I'll be there on Sunday. Ready to roll. It'll be fun.
The following Sunday might be up to. It may depend on my level of intoxication.
the party the night before. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, that might be for me too. I don't even know what the Halloween plans are, but yeah, it's always a tough Saturday. So
yeah.
it's a 12
Right.
o'clock start, right?
What?
It's a 12 o'clock start, right? I think we start 12 that week.
Yeah, I think it is.
So
Well, let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Who do we have
there's
up?
3:05. I think we're 12 and the Bears are 3. I think we like flip flop that week for some reason. Maybe
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
Well, we have the Giants at 3:05. Then the Cowboys come, and that's 3:25.
No, it's 3:25. That's the Bears are
The
12.
Texans game, yes, the
Texans are 12.
Sunday after Halloween
Yeah,
is at noon.
yeah.
So,
It's the Cowboys. It's 3:25. So
yep. So 2 at our normal time, and then the Texans, and then the Raiders.
that's the Raiders Thursday night game.
Yep. So, all right. Well, glad talking to you.
Sounds good. See you later. Y'all enjoy.
Oh, Bengals scored a field goal.
Oh, that's good.
So
I liked him
Flacco's
today. So.
for once doing something for a team, unlike what he
He was,
did
a,
for
he, was
us.
a, he was a good fit for them because all he could do is throw to Jason Higgins. I don't know if we watched a lot of the game, but he's literally he's targeted him I think
It's
30 different
Jason
times. It's
Higgins.
just
It's
amazing.
Jason Higgins'
He,
show.
he's
Yeah.
a perfect fit. Yeah, he's a perfect fit. He's like, oh, I have the 2 best receivers. I'm just gonna throw them the ball always, and I don't care I don't care about anyone else involved. Like
Yep.
it's actually fun to watch. I'm glad they got him. It's good.
Every once in a while, he hands it to the running back. Just get me a yard. That's all I care about. Like, okay.
Well, it's been better. They've been terrible running the ball, and Chase Brown's looked good today. They've actually gave him a few holes. And
Yeah.
stuff, so.
I saw the one that he ran into the end zone, the last touchdown they had. So, yeah. All right. Well, bye-bye.
Have a nice evening.
And see ya.